And straight from the South Shore to our studios here in Watertown, three-time Stanley Cup champion Mark Recchi joining us in studio. We're going to show the book here. It's beautiful. It's full 60 to history, and you can find it not only at AT&T stores, but also at bostonbruins.com/full60. And we are here with a guy who, in addition to having considerable hockey talent, you also wrote the afterword to this book, and it also talks about your public speaking skills. In particular, one of my favorite moments was your speech after they clear out the locker room, all the celebration, all the media's gone after Game 7 in Vancouver, and they talk about that speech. What was that like for you?
Well, obviously pretty special when what we've been through together, and knowing it's my last time I'm going to be part of a group like that and in a dressing room, and it kind of caught me off guard a little bit as well. I mean, I didn't expect, Gregory Campbell gave me the jacket, and then it just kind of evolved from there, and I was able to put the last piece of the puzzle on, and able to speak in front of the guys and let them know what they meant to me, and what the whole deal, and how much I loved playing with them and loved being with them, and how in 22 years we were probably one of the best groups I've ever played with. So.
And in effect, that was a retirement speech, and it was important for you to tell them before the media had any inclination about that.
Well, absolutely, and I think some of them had a sense. I mean, Sean Thornton knew the night before. I had him come over, and we had a glass of wine before the night before Game 7, and I told him this was it, and let's do it right, and I want to win a cup with these guys and you, and let's go do this. And we felt very comfortable at the time, but it was nice to be able to just share with that one guy, and it was good.
It's funny thinking of Sean Thornton drinking a glass of wine. I think that's pretty entertaining. That's a nice image. And we'll get to your experience and expertise with wine here in a second, but I do want to remind people, listen, you may think that you know everything that there is to know about the Bruins Stanley Cup run, but in this book, there are details and nuggets and trivia questions, facts that really are coming to light for the first time. What's your favorite that you've seen now that you've gotten a chance to look at the book? Yeah,
well, I haven't looked at it in full detail, but just some insights that I just looked at, and obviously one of personal is after Game 2 in the Montreal series, I thought I was able to speak on experience of what happened to me in 06 with Carolina. We were in the exact same situation with Montreal, and same team, same first round, same everything, and going up to Montreal, and I was able to share some experience there, and to me that something you don't forget as a player, and I think I was able to relax everybody a little bit and get everybody in the right direction.
Now, you mentioned that this was a group of guys unlike any that you played with. You've been around this game for a long time. Was there anything that the Bruins went through in the Stanley Cup run that you hadn't experienced at some point in your career?
Well, no, I think, we'd been through everything together, and, there was a lot of great things that just happened together, and, we had some ups and downs. We had 3 Game 7 series, which is incredible. We had some demons with Philadelphia we had to get over, and we did with flying colors, and there was just a lot of great things that happened, and, just so many special things, and, I'm excited to read the full thing too. I mean, I can't wait to, because there's some stuff on the management side, and what Peter and even like Claude, and, some things that they did, and, that, as players, we probably didn't know either.
And you talk about exercising some of those demons. That's where the book picks up. It's not just the Bruins Stanley Cup run. It actually picks up after the Game 7 loss to Philadelphia in 2010. And it's something that you got to finally celebrate, and something that you talked about celebrating. You're a wine connoisseur. People may not know this. You have a cellar with more than 1,000 bottles of wine?
It used to be. It's dwindled.
It's come down a little bit. That's what retirement does for you. It eats into your wine collection. Yeah, but I remember you talking about a specific bottle, a 1970 bottle of Bordeaux. It was a Petrus?
Yes.
Have you had a chance? You were talking about this after Game 2, and you said, listen, I still think I'm going to get a chance to pop the cork on this thing after you guys were down 2 games to the Canucks.
Yeah, I have 2 bottles that I wanted, and I haven't had the chance yet and the opportunity, and I'm excited to do it at some point. I just haven't found it's been so busy and hectic that I got to take a time and just really I'm not sure if I want to do it by myself or just whatever, and I'm still trying to figure out what that right time is. But.
Well, you break the glass if you put on all 3 rings, and you're drinking your wine with that. Let's take you to another part of this celebration, something that carried over into 2011, and it was the Bruins raising the banner opening night at the Garden against the Flyers, and a surprise that Andrew Ferentz had for you. Take a look.
Every time this jacket's been handed out, it represents the respect we have for our teammates' hard work and commitment to winning. There's one guy here tonight that deserves to get this jacket in front of everybody here. He taught us what it meant to be champions and how to become champions. Mark Recchi.
I'm sitting here in an air-conditioned, temperature-controlled studio. I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
What is that like for you to watch it, but also going through it that night?
Well, I mean, I'm getting choked up again even watching Andrew's speech, and that's what got me the most. I mean, I would have loved to have said something, but I couldn't. And, you know, I would have loved to said something to the Boston fans and my teammates out there in front of everybody, but it was tough. You know, I had no idea it was coming. And, you know, and Andrew and I become very close friends, and it was great to get it from him. And he's the one that, you know, brought that jacket in, and you know, it was a special moment, obviously, to, you know, again, the final time I'm on the ice and with my teammates, and, you know, it was pretty special. It was a little tight with my equipment on, though.
Well, that's, yeah, you're putting it over all the gear. That's one of the things that fans think they know a little bit about, but they're going to get some more nuggets about that in this book, certainly about that starter jacket. How involved have you been with the Bruins, I guess, since your retirement? How much have you seen of them, and what have you thought about the way the Stanley Cup defense has gone so far?
I think they've done a remarkable job, and even the tough start, I mean, I saw that they were playing well. They just were having a tough time scoring goals, and I knew there was only a matter of time before they started playing where they're capable of scoring some goals. And, you know, they got great leadership in that dressing room. The guys have, you know, they're winners in there, and they know what it takes now. And you know, they did a remarkable job. And, I mean, I didn't expect 16 or, you know, 16, you know, without losing. And you know, but great dressing room, and you know, I'm happy for them, and, you know, I enjoy watching. I watched 90% of the games so far, and love watching the guys play and compete. But in terms of being, I'm not involved right now at all with the Bruins. I'm not involved with anybody. I'm just kind of, you know, taking a step back and you know, letting things unwind a little bit, spend some time with my kids, you know, doing some things that I haven't been able to do. But I'd like to get involved one day, you know, with an organization, so at some point.
Well, you mentioned the very last line of your afterword in this book. You say, if the Bruins get in a pinch, your phone could ring. You'll be waiting there by the phone. That'd be interesting to see. You look like you can still play. But we opened things up. We asked for questions on social media from our Twitter followers and Facebook, and we got three, or the best three. We got plenty, but we chose the best three. And the first one actually speaks to your future. It's a Twitter question from Brew, just capital BRU, wants to know, would Mark ever consider coaching? It's a two-parter. Would Mark ever consider coaching, and in what jersey are you planning on retiring? Well,
the good thing about it is you don't have to pick a jersey in hockey, which is great. But obviously, being the Boston Bruins and winning and the original 6 team, it's something special to end my career with the Boston Bruins and playing 2.5 years here. It was something you'll never forget. But you know, in terms of coaching, you know, I don't really have any interest in coaching. I'm coaching my 10-year-old, and that's enough right now. And you know, I like more the management side. I like the team building stuff more than I do like, you know, more so the coaching side. I mean, I think I'd like it, but I think the team building intrigues me just a little bit more.
Okay, so front office more than being a bench boss, so to speak. Okay, all right, we have another one, Twitter question from Sean Typhon, who just simply, it's not even a question, it's just tell us the story of your Stanley Cup tattoo, because the legend of that thing has gotten around as well. Tattoos are also prominently featured in this book.
Well, absolutely, and it was something I always wanted to get one, and I knew I wanted to get a Stanley Cup with the, you know, with the Stanley Cup team, the teams that I won with. So I waited till I was going to wait till I retired, and it worked out perfectly. And you know, a week after, Andrew Ferensky came in town, and you know, he drew one up, and we kind of fiddled around with it a little bit, and he ended up doing a great job. And it's you know, it's something that I, you know, obviously have the rest of my life, and it meant a lot to me. Hockey meant the world to me, and I'm able to put it on with a little ink.
About how big? It's on your leg, right?
Yes.
It's down by the ankle. About how big is it? Because you've got a lot of ink to put down.
It's only about this big.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not huge, but you know, it's got the 3 teams with the Stanley Cup and you know, each year on it. So
I think it's safe to say there probably isn't anybody else who's won 3 Stanley Cups and gotten the ink to prove it. I'm throwing that out there. Nick Kowalski on Facebook, our last social media question. What was the best trash talk that you ever heard, and who did it come from? Because we've heard this Kevin Bieksa stuff, and you should go take a nap and enjoy retirement and all this. And so what is the best that you've heard? You've probably got plenty to choose from.
Well, there's lots. I mean, the one I used to get all the, you know, you retire, you're done, you're finished. I mean, I got a lot of that, and actually the one kid in Columbus was pretty funny, Jared. I think it's Bull, and he was pretty funny. He was pretty relentless with it, and it was actually pretty funny at the end. But you know, it's not a big deal. I just, you know, I tell them I'm 43. I said you know, I can still can still outplay them anyway, so I don't worry about it too much. So.
And that's why they bug you. That's why they chirp at you so much. 3-time Stanley Cup champ Mark Recchi joining us in studio. Thank you very much for the time. The book, once again, is Full 60, and you can find it at bostonbruins.com/full60. Mark Recchi wrote the afterword. He is also featured prominently in the Bruins' first Stanley Cup since 1972. We appreciate it. We appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it, buddy.